Surprise! Hello and welcome to Adelaide in South Australia. As my Indian Pacific video is almost hitting 500,000 views, today I'm going to travel on the iconic and historical GAN train from Adelaide to Darwin. I know there are plenty of gold class reviews on YouTube already, therefore today I'm spending $7,000 to review the platinum class for you. $7,000 is really a lot of money. I wish you could support me by watching the full length of this video, and please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you, and let's go! Adelaide is the capital city of South Australia and the 5th most populated city in the country. It's been noted for its leading examples of religious freedom, which became known as the City of Churches due to its diversity of faiths. Today, Adelaide is a wonderful place to live, work and visit, as the city is consistently ranked as one of the top 10 most livable cities in the world. Adelaide is famous for its many festivals and sporting events, food and wine, its coastlines and hills. Behind me is the AusAsia Festival, held annually over 3 weeks in spring. It showcases the best theatre, dance, music, visual arts, literature, films, food and cultural events from across Asia. I know at the end of my Indian Pacific video I promised to do a platinum class review if that video reaches 500,000 views. When it got 250,000 views 7 months ago, I did a survey on my channel. As 48% of the responses showed more interest on the GAN than the Indian Pacific, I booked this trip in late October. Adelaide has 2 major railway stations, Adelaide Parklands Terminal and Adelaide Railway Station. Adelaide's first railway station was opened at the current North Terrace site in 1856. Today's Adelaide Railway Station building was completed in 1928, comprises a massive sandstone building in neo-classical style. The station was a central terminus of Adelaide's suburban, regional and interstate services, including the GAN from 1929. In 1978, South Australian Railways was divided between 2 owners. The federal government-owned Australian National Railways Commission took over ownership and operation of all country lines outside Greater Adelaide. A new passenger terminal, later called Adelaide Parklands Terminal, opened in 1984 as a dedicated long-haul passenger railway station. Adelaide Railway Station is now only served by Adelaide Metro suburban train services. To get to Adelaide Parklands Terminal from Adelaide Railway Station, you can catch the trains on Flinders, Seaford or Blair Line and get off at Adelaide Showground Station. From there, Adelaide Parklands Terminal is only a 10-minute walk away. There are also bus stops on Richmond Road and Anzac Highway with frequent bus services coming from the city, Paradise, Marion, Glenelg and Alunga. In 1997, Australian National sold its interstate passenger trains, namely the GAN, the Indian Pacific and the Overland, to a private company called Great Southern Rail. Included in the sale were Adelaide Parklands Terminal, Alice Springs Railway Station and 186 items of rolling stock, mainly former Commonwealth Railways stainless steel carriages. In 2019, Great Southern Rail was rebranded as Journey Beyond. Today, Journey Beyond uses its refurbished luxurious rolling stock to operate the GAN between Adelaide and Darwin, the Indian Pacific between Sydney and Perth via Adelaide, the Great Southern between Adelaide and Brisbane, as well as a daytime overland service between Adelaide and Melbourne. There are 2 levels of service offered on the GAN, Gold service and Platinum service. You can consider Gold as business class and Platinum as first class. Gold is already pretty luxurious, but Platinum is even a step further. There used to be economy class seats on the GAN as well, but Journey Beyond had to retire them in 2016 when the federal government stopped subsidizing the service. For Platinum class passengers, the trip begins before they even board the train, with private transfers included at the start and at the end of the journey within a 60-kilometer drive from the terminal. For Gold service passengers, there are luggage trolleys and free parking at this terminal.
Ladies and gentlemen, The GAN from Darwin and Alice Springs is now arriving on platform 1. All passengers on platform 1, please stand well clear behind the yellow line. Thank you.
This is actually my first time seeing the GAN in real life. Hopefully you are as excited as I am. To film the arrival of the GAN from Darwin, I visited the station 24 hours before my departure. The train is hauled by two Pacific National NR class locomotives, both are painted in special GAN livery. These locals are diesel powered with a maximum speed of 115 km per hour. Depending on the demand, the train on average has around 36 stainless steel carriages built between the 1960s and the 70s. The average length of the train is 902 meters. Not all carriages are used by passengers. There are luggage vans to store passengers' checked luggage, power cars which each can provide electricity for approximately 14 carriages, and crew quarters for around 49 onboard staff to rest at night time. The platforms here are already quite long, each can accommodate 24 carriages. But when the train has more than 24 carriages, it needs to be split in half and the other half to be parked at the adjacent platform. Adelaide Parklands Terminal has 3 platforms. You can see locomotive AT50 just pulled the second half of the GAN into platform 2. As soon as the carriages were safely pulled into the terminal, the 2 GAN locomotives were immediately detached and travelled back to its depot in Kilburn. They won't come back until the GAN is ready to depart again tomorrow.
NR18, my favorite engine.
For Gold Service guests, it is recommended that you arrive at the station 3 hours before departure. Platinum guests receive complimentary private pickup from your address. I decided not to be picked up this morning so I can come early to do some filming. As soon as you arrive, you'll receive the warmest welcome from the station staff. They will then take your temperature and direct you to check-in. Platinum has its dedicated check-in lane. The staff will check your photo ID and the border entry form for entering the Northern Territory. For Gold class passengers, each person can check in 2 pieces of luggage, each weighing no more than 30 kilos. Platinum passengers can check in 3 pieces. They will be stored in the luggage van. You won't see them again until you arrive at your destination. There are no written rules on how many luggage you can bring into a cabin. However, for your own comfort, it's recommended not to bring more than 2 bags on board. After checking my documents and identity, I was given a lanyard for off-train excursions, along with my boarding card and my luggage receipt. For Platinum, if you have any cabin baggage, you can drop them off at check-in and the staff will take them to your cabin for you. What do you do for the time between checking in and boarding? Well, it's time to relax, get to know your fellow passengers, have a cuppa, or why not have a glass of champagne? There's also a souvenir shop where you can purchase the official GAN, Indian Pacific and Great Southern merchandise. You may have noticed that the carriages of the GAN, Indian Pacific and Great Southern look very identical. You are right, it's because all 3 trains use the same type of rolling stock. The only difference is the sign. The interior is exactly the same. Let's talk about the differences between Gold and Platinum service. First of all, looking at the exterior, Gold carriage windows look like this and Platinum look like this. Platinum windows are longer and I'd say they also have a more contemporary looking. Platinum carriages are situated in the center part of the train. You will see the reason when we arrive in Alice Springs and Katherine for the off-train excursion. Before general boarding, the staff permitted me to show you what Gold class looks like. At the rear of each carriage, there's a self-service tea, coffee and water station available 24 hours. There are 4 types of cabins in Gold service. First is Gold Access Cabin. The cabin features a 0.85 meter wide door with 2 seats by day converting to 2 lower berths by night. There's a wardrobe, a mobile height adjustable table and an accessible ensuite bathroom with seat and handrail facilities, a flexible hand shower and a shower chair. The size of this cabin is at least twice the size of a regular Gold twin cabin. Gold Access Cabin is subject to availability and you have to contact the reservation center in order to book it. The Gold Twin cabin is the most popular choice of accommodation on the train. During the day, the cabin is a 3-seater lounge that converts to an upper and lower sleeping berth at night. The cabin also comes with an ensuite with toilet, wash basin and shower. The biggest downside of this cabin is the ensuite. It's tiny. I reckon the floor would be very wet and the ensuite be very steamy after a shower. Gold Twin is the cheapest private cabin for couples. If you are traveling alone and wish to book this cabin, you can. You just have to cover the extra cost for single usage. If you are a solo traveler, the cheapest option for you is a Gold single cabin. I didn't get time to film them before boarding, therefore I'm showing you my Gold single cabin on my Indian Pacific experience. The cabin is in a 1-1 configuration with a corridor in the middle. The seat has a full leg extension bench. There's enough space to fully stretch my legs when sitting down. By night, the seat converts to a cozy single bed. There's no private toilet in each cabin, but there's a modern wash basin. Although the space is small, the cabin still offers a series of compartments and shelving options incorporated into the compact design. There are 16 Gold single cabins in each carriage, with 4 shared toilets and 2 showers. Even though the showers are shared, the space is very generous. The shower experience is way better than in Gold Twin. The last cabin type in Gold service is Gold Superior. The cabin features a 3/4 size double bed plus an additional fold-down upper berth, as well as a private lounge area, TV and DVD player, mini bar and an ensuite. The ensuite is bigger than the Gold Twin, but the shower and the toilet are also not separated. The price of a Gold Superior cabin can be similar to a Platinum cabin. Gold Superior is not as modern, but it has a TV and a mini bar which Platinum cabins don't have. One thing to note is that no matter which Gold cabin you travel in, there are power outlets in every single cabin and everyone receives the same all-inclusive dining, beverages and off-train excursions. All Gold service passengers have access to the Outback Explorer Lounge. The entire carriage offers different lounge seatings for socialization, along with a merchandise corner and a bar. You can drink whatever, whenever you want during lounge opening hours. The lounge closes at around 10:30 every night. Next to the lounge car is the Queen Adelaide restaurant. This classically styled carriage is where Gold service passengers enjoy all-inclusive meals prepared by onboard chefs using fresh local ingredients. Gold service fares include breakfasts, 2-course lunches, and 3-course dinners. You can request special vegan, vegetarian, and children's dietary meals when you book your train ticket. If you would like to know more about the Gold service experience, you can check out my Indian Pacific video or my Great Southern experience, which I'm still editing, and the video will come out in the coming weeks. After having another glass of champagne and watching the staff briefly introduce the team leaders, the gang is ready for boarding just 1 hour before the scheduled departure time. Welcome to the Platinum Carriage. Platinum service has 2 types of cabins, Platinum Double, which the seats convert to a double bed at night, and Platinum Twin that turn into 2 single beds at night. Both cabins cost the same money and they both are about the same size. This is my Platinum Double cabin. As you can see, the cabin is currently set up in lounge style with a movable table. My cabin baggage has been placed in the corner of the room exactly as how I requested at check-in. Platinum cabin is almost twice the size of a Gold twin cabin. The ensuite is so much more spacious. The toilet, the wash basin and the shower are all separate. This is the most luxurious cabin on a regular train service in Australia. A typical 36 carriage Longan has 25 Platinum beds and 258 Gold beds. In my carriage there are only 6 cabins for a maximum of 12 passengers. I'll show you more about my cabin later. Same as Gold, at the end of the carriage there's a self-service tea, coffee and water station. As passenger numbers in each Platinum carriage are way fewer than in Gold carriage, Platinum only has a combined lounge and dining carriage called the Platinum Club Lounge. The first half of the carriage is a bar. The beverages offered here are more premium than in Gold. Unlike the Outback Explorer Lounge and Queen Adelaide Restaurant, which have a more classical and heritage decor, the Platinum Club features courtside tables, timber flooring, brass fittings and leather banquet lounge seating in tones of ash, moss and sepia. Platinum and Gold passengers have the same breakfast and lunch options, but Platinum has a heartier 4-course dinner instead of 3 in Gold. Let the journey begin! When I filmed this video, the South Australian border was still closed to Victoria and New South Wales. As a result of the low demand, the train was only 26 carriages long, which is why you could see some carriages not being used for this journey. After leaving Adelaide Parklands Terminal, the gang will head north using Adelaide Port Augusta railway line. This line was fully converted to standard gauge in 1982. It runs on the western side of the same corridor as Gawler railway line into Salisbury station. It then continues heading north towards Port Augusta.
Good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to give you a very warm welcome aboard the gang. Over the next 3 days we will be travelling from the bottom to the top of Australia. From Adelaide to Darwin, a distance of some 2,979 kilometres. Stopping at Marla in the early hours of tomorrow morning, and then Alice Springs, finally Katherine and Darwin Tuesday.
Now let's have a more detailed look at the Platinum double cabin. There's a vanity table next to the window, which I find it to be a perfect place to put my suitcase. Above the ensuite ceiling, there's a storage area with 2 blankets. The seat cushions and the pillows are firm and comfortable. There's a wardrobe on both sides of the seat and more storage area below the bedside table. On the other side of the seat, below the wardrobe, there's a control panel for in-cabin music channels and Journey audio commentary. There are also control panels in Gold cabins, except those are not touchscreens. There are 2 massive drawers on this side of the bed and a safe. Below the seats, there are drawers to store the doona and pillowcases for the bed. Once again, it's a very carefully designed cabin with many hidden features. There are 2 ottomans placed under the movable table. I find them to be excellent leg rests. Moving on to the ensuite. Whether you are in Gold or Platinum, all towels and toiletries are provided. If you require a toothbrush, mouthwash, shaving kit, shoe shine and earplugs, just ask any onboard staff. There's even a hairdryer below the sink. Look how spacious the shower is. For your privacy and hygiene, there's a sliding door that separates the ensuite from the bedroom. It can be locked. Here is an ultra-angle view of my Platinum cabin. I believe now I have shown you everything about my room. You may have noticed that there are windows on both sides of the cabin. This design makes sure that you can enjoy views from both sides of the train. The window blind can be opened, closed, angled, raised or lowered by rotating this handle. Like any modern hotel room, the cabin door can be locked from inside. If you put "Please make up my room" sign before dinner and before breakfast, the staff will put down or put up the bed while you're eating your meal at the Platinum Club Lounge. There are 2 keycards to swipe open the door. On the foldable table, there are 2 bottles of hand sanitizers, 2 bottles of water, sunscreens, a card for allocated meal times, a COVID-safe information card, and 2 important booklets. One tells you a brief history about the GAN and the information about the Platinum service. And the other booklet shows you the options for the off-train excursions in Alice Springs and Katherine. Each place has 4 to 5 tour options, with some involving additional costs. The staff will ask for your preferred choice and a secondary option in case the first preference is unavailable. Time for my first meal on the GAN. Have you noticed any improvement on my video quality? I bought a new camera just before traveling on this train. I used 3 cameras to film this trip, with most footages being recorded on my GoPro and the new camera. If you are traveling in Gold single cabin, you will most likely have to share a dining table with other people. It's a great opportunity to make friends. In Platinum, I can choose to have the whole table to myself, which made it easier for me to film my dining experiences. While waiting for the main course, the staff always serve some artisan bread as a side dish. For this lunch, it's a pumpkin seed sourdough bread with gremolata. Gremolata is an Italian condiment that usually consists of grated lemon zest, minced garlic, and minced parsley. Artisan bread should have a variety of hues in its crust. You can see this bread has its crust ranging from golden brown to a light golden color. From both the look and the taste, the bread is perfect. All 3 main course options are light and healthy. Once again, if you have special dietary requirements, you should inform the reservation team when you book the ticket. Murray Bridge is a city located 78 kilometers east of Adelaide. Plating is an art, and this dish looks beautiful. Cooking pork is tricky. The 2 very generous cuts of pork loin were cooked right on point. A second longer in the grill, the meat would be too dry, and 1 second shorter, it could still be raw. I never knew that grilled pork loin could be so juicy and tasty. The beans still have a vibrant green color, and look how perfectly and evenly the potatoes and carrots were chopped. If I were a food critic, I would give this dish a 10 out of 10. I asked the staff if I could try another main dish, and she recommended the roasted cauliflower and zucchini salad. The salad looks very colorful. The toasted pita was still warm when served. I think the highlight of this dish is its seasoning. Daka is a classic Egyptian accompaniment to soups, salads, and dips. This salad has taken me to the Middle East, and then the gently savoury and earthy flavour of the native Australian saltbush leaves brought me home to the Australian outback. I'm glad that I tried this dish.
Some 130 commissioned turbines, depending on who you listen to, supplying 1/3 of South Australia's power.
The beverages in Platinum service are of the highest standard. Comparing to Gold, the wines are more premium. For example, instead of serving South Australian sparkling wines, there's French champagne in Platinum, which costs $87 a bottle at David Jones or Dan Murphy's. For dessert, there are 2 options. I can see a lot is happening inside this small piece of cake. There are at least 4 layers in there. I love that they use dark chocolate as the coating. It's full of chocolate flavor, yet not being too sweet. The chocolate and mandarin layered mousse added some fruity flavor to the cake. One small bite, you'll get lots of flavors mixing, harmonizing with each other. And then you also have the sour raspberry sorbet mixing with the cake. This dessert has given me multiple variants of flavors combined in my mouth, a truly unique experience. As we continue heading north towards the South Australian outback, the southern end of the Flinders Ranges has just shown up on the right-hand side window. It took me 90 minutes to finish my lunch, but I did enjoy every bite of this 2-course meal. This is what the Gold Service menu looks like. Yes, for breakfast and lunch, both services have the same menu.
Some of them you can buy that it's like in a subdivision, so you only pay one lot. And then he put his house on the wrong side, so he had to pay for the utilities to put in on the
We have just passed Port Pirie. I think now is a good time to give you a brief history of the Ghan. The construction of a narrow gauge railway line between Port Augusta, which is about 1 hour from where we are right now, to Alice Springs began in 1878. The line was later called the Central Australia Railway. Workers built the track up to Oodnadatta, approximately 770 kilometers from Port Augusta in 1891. In 1911, the Commonwealth Government committed to construct an Adelaide to Darwin rail line to connect South Australia with the top end. In 1929, the line was extended from Oodnadatta to Alice Springs, and the first Ghan train from South Australia to the Northern Territory commenced on the 4th of August in the same year. According to legend, the name Ghan is an abbreviated version of the name Afghan Express, said to have originated in Cairns in 1923 when the Great Northern Express was dubbed the Afghan Express by rail workers. While others suggest that it was named after the Afghan camel drivers who arrived in Australia in the late 19th century to help the British colonisers find a way to reach the country's interior. However, the Central Australia Railway is not the line that we travel on today. In 1980, a brand new standard gauge line between Tarcoola and Alice Springs was built west of the original line to avoid the most flood-prone regions of Central Australia. It wasn't until January 2004, 93 years since the promise of a rail link between Adelaide and Darwin was made, the line was finally completed, and the first Ghan train arrived in Darwin on the 3rd of February 2004. Today, you can still travel on a portion of the Central Australia Railway and sit in the old Ghan carriage with Pichi Ridge Railway, which operates tourist trains between Port Augusta and Cairns. There isn't any off-train excursion on the first day of the Ghan. It gives you time to just relax, socialize and enjoy the views from the windows. What's for the afternoon snack? Some nuts and more champagne. Cheers! Port Augusta is the last major town on the rail line until Alice Springs. Between now and tomorrow afternoon, 3G and 4G coverage will be pretty much non-existent. Both Gold and Platinum service lounges offer free Wi-Fi, however the usage is limited to 500 megabytes per day. On the positive side though, this allows me to unplug from my electronic devices and fully enjoy the beautiful sceneries outside and the wonderful hospitality on board. For each meal, the front of the menu always showcases the ingredients that can be found in the region that we are traveling through. If you include the appetizer, the dinner menu in Platinum has 5 courses. Well, actually 6 courses, this is not on the menu. To start, I was served a mushroom and chive canapé. Spencer Gulf is a triangular inlet of the Indian Ocean, indenting the southern coast of South Australia. Port Pirie and Port Augusta are located on the east coast of the Gulf. The king prawn was peeled, it was big, fresh and tasty.
Wow, that is amazing. I personally think South Australia has some of the best sunsets and sunrises I've ever seen.
The bread for dinner is a warm mini bread roll with butter. A trip across the outback is not complete without trying some kangaroo meat, and if you've watched my Indian Pacific video, you would know how mouth-watering the meat is. The dish comes with 3 slices of kangaroo one cooked to a perfect medium rare. The meat melted in my mouth instantly. Kangaroos have a unique and distinctive gait where they travel around by hopping, which naturally gives them outstanding muscles. Therefore, kangaroo is a very lean meat. The rosella flour chutney added some sweet flavor to the meat. The sweet corn puree kept the meat juicy, and pickled cucumber salad freshened my breath after finishing the dish. This is definitely my all-time favorite entree. If this option showed up on your menu, I would highly recommend you to try it. Moving on to the main course. I'm getting there. At first, I couldn't decide between the lamb and the seafood tasting plate. I wasn't sure if I would like the baby octopus, so in the end, I picked the safe option of roasted lamb rump. Each main dish comes with a side plate of vegetables and mixed leaf salad. Apologies for the light flickering in the video. I managed to fix this problem at tomorrow's dinner, so please bear with me tonight. The lamb was cooked to medium, the meat was very tender. The fat gives the meat a rich flavor and kept the lamb juicy. Lamb and mint are a scientific match. Where did the chef put the mint in this dish? The pea puree. The mint has a subtly sweet taste and cool sensation, which leaves a refreshing taste in my mouth. Lovely. Onkaparinga is a local government area in the southern fringe of Adelaide, and Encounter Bay is located 4 kilometres southwest of Victor Harbour. Both cheeses were produced locally in South Australia. The triple cream brie is extremely creamy with a buttery, melt-in-your-mouth texture and flavour. Edam is a semi-hard cheese with a mild, nutty, salty flavour. It's a bit softer than cheddar, but they have quite similar flavours in their taste. To finish, there are 2 dessert options. Trifle is a classic English dish. This apricot trifle consists of fruit, jelly, custard and cake. The final touch, double cream. The dessert tastes just how you would expect it to be, sweet, fruity, creamy and altogether delightful. The purpose of fine dining is to stimulate as many senses as possible to create a unique, memorable experience. The 5-course dinner was healthy, delicious, and each dish has its own characteristic and flavour. I cannot wait for more exciting meals in the coming days. Comparing the Platinum menu with the Gold menu, Gold doesn't have Spencer Gulf King Prawn appetizer, and between the cheese and the dessert, you can only pick one. While I was spending 2 hours enjoying my dinner, the onboard staff has converted my day lounge into a bed. This looks more like a very comfortable bed at a hotel. I can't believe I'm able to sleep in a spacious double bed on a train. Same as Gold service, each passenger gets 2 different pillows, one is firmer than the other. The linens are luxuriously soft. There's a Braised Girdles dark chocolate on the bed to help me fall asleep. In Platinum, I also get a premium quality pyjama to wear at night, and I can take it with me when the train arrives in Darwin. When the bed is put down, I can still store my luggage under the vanity table, and I still have access to all the drawers under the bedside tables and the seats. Just a reminder that if you don't want people to see you, make sure that your blind is closed properly. Same as all the other trains, the GAN can be wobbly and noisy no matter what class you travel in. Platinum service has more comfortable beds than Gold, but it doesn't reduce the shakiness of the train. Therefore, if you are a light sleeper, traveling in Platinum doesn't guarantee better sleep. I have to get up at 6:15 for the arrival into Mala, therefore it's time for me to go to bed. When all the lights are turned off, the room is pretty dark. I can see a little bit of light escaping through the blind as lights on the hallway remain on throughout the night, but it shouldn't be a problem for most people. The air conditioning is centrally controlled, it can get cold later at night. For me, the doona was enough to keep me warm, and remember there are blankets provided in the cabin if you need extra warmth. I've been traveling on night trains all my life, I'm used to the vibration of the train, so I actually had a great 7 hours of sleep. We are now approximately 30 minutes from Mala, it's time to check out the shower. Each carriage stores 3,000 liters of water, and the train replenishes its water supply at various locations along the journey. Even when traveling in Gold, I never encountered any water shortage. However, for the planet, responsible water usage is still recommended. The water was hot, the water pressure was adequate, and the shower head has 3 modes to choose from. After the shower, just leave the towels on the floor, the staff will take care of them during breakfast. Welcome to Mala. If you are not a morning person, you don't have to get off the train, you can stay in bed for as long as you want. But I don't recommend you to do that.
Very good, thank you. You're in E3, aren't you? Yep. Perfect.
Mala is approximately 1,131 kilometers from the state capital of Adelaide by rail and 426 kilometers south of Alice Springs. The train arrived here before sunrise for passengers to stretch their legs and, most importantly, to watch the sunlight slowly bathe the surrounding outback. The staff have built 2 bonfires to keep everybody warm. The fire also grabs our attention through every single of our senses. It provides an environment that cancels out any outside distractions and only leaves relaxation. Who doesn't love bonfires? While passengers were gathering around the bonfire, sharing their life stories, reminiscing about the day or the distant past, the crews have set up a drink station to serve us tea, coffee and juice. I honestly didn't expect to see the sunrise this morning because today was supposed to be raining according to last night's weather forecast. But wow, what a spectacular sunrise. Even some staff couldn't help but also took a few photos on their phones. They told me it was the best sunrise they had seen in a while. Having bacon and egg muffins in the Australian outback is such a perfect choice for breakfast. It was a simple but delicious meal to start the day. The stopover in Mala is around 60 minutes. I can tell you now that this is my favorite part of the entire journey. It's only 7:30, a brunch will be served from 10 o'clock, which means there's enough time to even hop back into bed. In Platinum, only dinner time is fixed. You can choose to have an early dinner at 6 or a late one at 7:30. For breakfast, brunch or lunch, you can go at any time within the hours written on the dining card. I've wanted to show you the window size difference between Platinum and Gold for a while. Here's the footage. The window on my left is the same size as the windows in Gold. You can see the window in Platinum is much longer, which provides a more panoramic view. Brunch time is between 10 and 1. You can come at any time during this period. A variety of jams and butter have already been set up on the table. For drink, I have to try the juice of the day, but if you prefer to have alcohol, you can ask the staff to get you a wine list. Gold and Platinum have the same menu. There are 5 options for main. As it's only 10 o'clock, I decided to have something close to breakfast. Inclusive of the main course is a selection of wood-fired artisan toasts. In addition to butter, there's a range of Beerenberg homemade Australian jams, tomato sauce and Dijon mustard. Oh, the fried egg looks so perfect! Gammon steak is a thick cut of meat, comes from the hind leg of a pig. It's usually paired with eggs or potatoes, which is exactly what they did on this train. Pork legs are low in fat, which means the meat can become very dry when cooked for too long. Well, don't worry, just like all the other proteins that I've had on the game so far, the chefs have kept the meat tender and juicy. All the ingredients were fresh and yummy. I have enjoyed this dish.
Again, we are now in the Northern Territory.
At 10:34, we crossed the South Australia and Northern Territory border. The NT does not observe daylight savings in summer, which means we all have to wind our clocks back an hour. Alice Springs shouldn't be too far away now. Among the 5 main course options, I actually couldn't decide between the gammon steak and Adelaide Plains chicken. The staff offered me a simple solution, letting me try both. The plating looks very neat and they used my favorite part of the chicken, the breast. However, the chicken breast is one of the most challenging cuts to cook. Without the fat in the bone to keep the meat moist, chicken breasts can get tough and chewy when overcooked. Unfortunately, my chicken was dry and rubbery. The mint yogurt at the bottom added a little bit of moisture to the chicken, but it didn't really make a difference. The rice was also very dry, so you definitely need to have a glass of water next to you if you want to try this dish. Perhaps they could use fried rice and add a few more drizzles of oil to the chicken. Just a suggestion. Gammon steak is a winner for me.
By the Ironman, located on the right hand side, and as I said, it commemorates the laying of the 1 millionth concrete sleeper in the Tarcoola to Alice Springs. Just put my teeth back in there. The Tarcoola to Alice Springs railway line back in the mid-1980s. Thank you.
For dessert, there are 2 choices. The poppy seed toasts were lightly toasted. I think there are 4 ways to have them. You can eat without any dipping. Dip into apricot and cranberry jam to give the toast a more fruity flavor. Dip into the crème anglaise for a more creamy taste, or dip into both. I don't have a sweet tooth, so I prefer plain toast or with a little bit of jam. When I came back from my meal, the staff has already put the bed up, and my room has become a day lounge once again. Of course, if you would like to keep your bed down, just put out the privacy please sign, and if you would like to have your brunch in your room, the staff can arrange that too. The service on board is absolutely first class. They have also taken my wet towels and replaced with the fresh ones. The lounge is a great social area, but in Platinum I actually prefer to sit in my own cabin. It's quieter, more private and more comfortable. I guess most people in Platinum feel the same, that's why the Platinum Club Lounge isn't as busy as the Outback Explorer Lounge in Gold service.
As I said, anticipated arrival of 1:30 PM into Alice Springs. Maximum of 34 degrees today in Alice Springs.
Alice Springs is only about 40 minutes away now. Let's talk about the off-train excursion in Alice. For both Gold and Platinum, there are 5 3-hour-long off-train excursion options that people can choose. If this is your first time in Alice, I would recommend you to do the Alice Springs Desert Park tour. The Desert Park is a living highlight reel of the Outback with more than 200 desert animals and 400 plants to explore. The Free Flight Bird Show is a highlight of the tour, where you'll have an up-close experience with many of the birds as well as an exclusive tour behind the stage. Alice Explorer is a tour around the town. You will visit the Royal Flying Doctor Service, Alice Reptile Center, Alice Springs Telegraph Station and Anzac Hill, where you will have a panoramic view of Alice. Simpsons Gap is a stunning gorge carved out of the West MacDonnell Ranges and home to a permanent waterhole. This is a tour with immersive nature and wildlife experiences. You will need a high fitness level to complete this tour, as the trip includes a short hike with 4 kilometers of walking in total. The Pindon Camel Tracks takes you outside the town and lets you ride on a camel with the West MacDonnell Ranges in the background. If you love nature but don't like walking, this tour is perfect. Riding on a camel is fun. Camels are very gentle, you would have a great time here. However, the camel ride is not included in your journey, it costs an additional $60 per person. The last and in my opinion the best option is a 20-minute helicopter flight, which enables you to discover the red earth from the air. Before the flight, you will be able to relax with a drink around the pool at Crown Plaza Alice Springs and enjoy refreshments and high tea after your flight. This option costs $200 per person. My preferences for these 5 options are Helicopter, Desert Park, Simpsons Gap, City Tour and Camel Ride. I've been in Alice Springs several times already, and I've done the Desert Park and Camel Ride before. I don't want to spend any extra money, so I picked the Simpsons Gap tour this time. Hopefully my explanation here could help you decide which tour you would like to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're currently 20 minutes from our arrival into Alice Springs. Alice Springs is located in the geographical centre of Australia. The town sits on the Todd River in the shadow of the Great MacDonnell Ranges, which stretch 220 kilometres across the Red Centre. Alice Springs developed around the Overland Telegraph Station, which was built to allow fast communication between Australia and the rest of the world. Due to its extreme isolation, Alice Springs was slow to grow, and when the very first plane landed here in 1921, the town still had no more than 300 citizens. These days, it's home to around 28,000 people and holds a special place in Australian history and culture. We'll be entering Alice shortly through a pass in the MacDonnell Ranges called Heavy Tree Gap. Thank you.
Alice Springs is situated roughly in Australia's geographic centre, and it is nearly equidistant from Adelaide and Darwin. Alice is again's only pick-up and drop-off point between Adelaide and Darwin. The off-train excursions are not included for passengers leaving the Ghan in Alice. If you would like to join the 3 complimentary tours, you are required to pay $100 per person. Welcome to the Northern Territory. At the time of filming, Northern Territory had its own border control to make sure that no one entering the territory came from an interstate hotspot. But don't worry about the border control now. As of 18th of February 2022, interstate arrivals are no longer required to quarantine, take a COVID test or complete a border entry form. Platinum carriages are strategically placed in the middle of the whole train. The station terminal is right outside my carriage. When the train is over 30 carriages long, some Gold service passengers would have to walk 400 meters to get to the terminal. Well, I guess this is another Platinum privilege. My platinum privilege also ended right there. Those that selected the same tour are allocated onto the same bus. Platinum and gold guests share the same bus. It took about 40 minutes to clear everyone through border control, so there was a fair bit of waiting. The bus was absolutely full, which was quite a contrast to my private, spacious platinum cabin. Those that picked the Desert Park and Simpsons Gap tour were allocated on the same bus. After dropping people off at the Desert Park, we were finally on our way to the Gap.
In the shed on his own, his family are away and one of his daughters has gone to town for the day to do some shopping.
Cassia Hill is part of West Macdonnell National Park. This walk gives excellent elevated views of the ranges and Simpsons Gap. During the walk, our tour guide was able to draw our attention to numerous rare and relic native plants found in this area.
Most of you would have heard of the witchetty grub? Yep. Well, sometimes, or the early Aboriginal people, you get these trees, sometimes you can see the side of the tree has died off. It's actually where the root system's been eaten out. The actual grub gets inside the root system and eats that side of the tree up. So instead of killing the whole tree, Aboriginal people would dig around the base of the tree and find a root system leading in, a hole leading in through the root system, cut that section off so they don't kill the whole tree, pull out the witchetty grubs and cook them in the coals and eat them. But you're better off to eat them while they're still alive, still wriggling. You do that, you've got to put their head down first, otherwise they wriggle up again. Tastes a bit like peanut butter.
The path to the top is well maintained and there is no rock scrambling required. From the top of the hill, it gives you 360-degree views of the West Macdonnell, Heavy Tree Range and Simpsons Gap itself. Unfortunately, the hill is not high enough for us to see Alice Springs Town Centre. The weather in Alice couldn't get any better. It had been raining in the past few days and the sky only cleared up this morning. How lucky! The temperature also dropped due to the rain, only 34 degrees today.
Walk up here, there is a toilet stop too if you like.
The second stop is Simpsons Gap car park. There's a toilet block here and the place has excellent barbecue and picnicking facilities. Simpsons Gap is one of the most prominent gaps in the West Macdonnell Ranges. It features the towering cliffs of Simpsons Range and a permanent waterhole. There still are prettier and more spectacular waterholes in the West Macdonnell Ranges, but being only 24 kilometers by road, Simpsons Gap's proximity to Alice Springs has made it easier to access. The walk to the Gap is wheelchair accessible, or you can choose to walk across the sand, which is a lot more fun. The colour of the cliffs resonates in the sun. I've never been to any other waterholes in Central Australia, but I'm already impressed with the views here. Simpsons Gap also provides opportunities to spot resident wildlife, including black-footed rock wallabies. They are primarily seen at dawn and dusk. My tour was interesting and I'm happy with the tour options that Journey Beyond offers for this 4-hour stop. However, 4 hours only allows you to see a fraction of Alice Springs. You will need to spend at least a few nights in this town to truly explore what Central Australia has to offer. Qantas, Virgin and Air North provide direct flights to Alice Springs from Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, Darwin and Tennant Creek. Uluru or Ayers Rock is a 5-hour drive from here. It's possible to make a day trip there with a local tour company. The original Alice Springs Railway Station was opened in 1929 when the Central Australia Railway finally extended to Alice Springs. The current station was opened in 1980 when the new standard gauge line from Tarcoola was opened. The air-conditioned station terminal offers some seating space and a small souvenir shop.
How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year.
Alice Springs is probably your only opportunity to have a close-up view of the locomotives.
Single please, we should be here.
Besides the GAM passenger train, the Tarcoola-Darwin rail corridor is used by freight trains operated by One Rail Australia, providing 5 weekly return services between Adelaide and Darwin, transporting containerised consumer goods, general cargo, bulk liquids and project cargo. Upon returning, the staff has prepared a glass of refreshing iced tea in my Platinum cabin.
We are so lucky. I mean, Australia, so lucky.
As we leave Alice Springs, we are now more than halfway through our journey to Darwin. Time flies so quickly. Oh, do you recognize his voice? Yes, it's everyone's all-time favorite superstar crowd pleaser, Gogo. He surely has some talent. It's time for dinner. If we count the canapé, this is only my second but also my last 6-course feast on board again. I will definitely miss these meals when I get off the train. Tonight's canapé is pumpkin, yogurt and olive. Carpaccio is similar to tartare, which both are a dish of meat being served raw, except meat in carpaccio is thinly sliced, but tartare is made from meat that has been pounded, minced or chopped. I'm not a fan of raw meat, so I'm glad that the chefs have lightly grilled the venison. Just like last night's kangaroo loin, the meat melted in my mouth instantly, and the lime salsa made my mouth water and eager for more delicious dishes. Northern Territory's top end is also known as the crocodile country. There are now as many as 100,000 wild saltwater crocodiles in the territory. Have you ever wondered what crocodile meat tastes like? Tonight is your chance. Yes, the meat does look and taste like chicken. Crocodile meat is mild in flavor with its firm and tender texture of succulent white meat. The flavor is slightly fishy but not in an unpleasant way. The sauce was lovely, it was sweet and I could taste ginger in there, which reduced the fishy taste of the crocodile. This is definitely a 10 out of 10 entree, absolutely beautiful. I'm a big fan of Peking duck. I don't want to miss out, so I asked the staff if I could try another entree. The answer was positive. First of all, I have to say, technically this is not Peking duck. Yes, Peking ducks are usually sliced into thin pieces, but the duck skin should be very crispy. In fact, the very authentic versions of the dish serve mostly skin and little meat. Not all ducks can be used for Peking duck either, it has to use a wide-feathered breed of duck originating in China. This breed has a mild and moist flavor profile and is not gamey like other breeds. Other than that though, the duck was cooked perfectly, the meat was not raw, it not chewy. The salad looked very colourful and the vegetables were chopped evenly, which gave me great aesthetic pleasure. The clear winner for the entree is the crocodile. I don't think most people get to try crocodile meat often, so why not give it a go? I love fish, especially barramundi. From crocodile to saltwater barramundi, you can tell the source of the ingredients used for our meals have shifted from the Adelaide region to the Northern Territory. The barra was cooked to perfection, the skin was so crispy. The barramundi is not a very fishy fish, it's mild in flavour with a sweet taste and firm texture. When having a meat dish, I do prefer the meat not to be buried in sauces so that I can still taste the meat's original flavour. The coconut soup base has a mild, curry-like taste. The appropriate amount of spice in the soup had removed the fishy taste of the barra, yet it didn't overpower the fish's natural flavour. Another wonderful dish. Same as last night, each main course comes with a side plate of salad. The other thing that I'm impressed with is the speed that each dish was prepared. As soon as I finished one course, it usually took no more than 5 minutes for the next to be delivered. And you've seen how fancy each dish looks and how delicious they taste. This is incredible. For those who don't like fish, the braised beef cheeks is a great alternative. Beef cheeks contain a fair amount of connective tissues. Through the course of slow cooking, these tissues break down and become slightly gelatinous, producing a rich, unique, super soft mouthfeel that any other cut of the beef cannot replicate. Section 28 Mount Priscilla is a semi-soft cheese distinguished by the line of ash running through its center. It has a soft yellow ivory paste that is buttery, sweet and smooth with a silky, subtle taste. This has to be my favorite cheese that I had on this train. Gâteau means cake in French. The triple dark chocolate mousse was made with a chocolate sponge, cool creamy mousse filling and topped with rich chocolate ganache. The added apricot dome made the cake more attractive, the red desert dust tasted like cookies. This is a beautiful dessert to finish off my 2-hour-long dinner. For passengers in Gold service, they wouldn't be able to try the venison appetizer, and cheese is one of the 3 dessert options. Back in my room, the bed has already been made and I received another Bracegirdles dark chocolate. It's only 8:30, the lounges on this train close at 10:30. It's been a long day of filming, it's finally time for me to get some rest, so good night. I know some of you might wonder what the noise level is like in the cabin. It's around 50 to 60 decibels when the train travels at full speed. This is similar to the noise of an electric toothbrush or a running dishwasher. Good morning! Can you see how green it is outside? We are no longer in the red center but at the top end. The top end is a tropical oasis that consists of Darwin, World Heritage listed Kakadu National Park, remote Arnhem Land in the northeast corner, and the Katherine region where the tropics meet the outback. In Platinum, the breakfast time is between 6:30 and 8:30. Again, you can go to the Platinum Club whenever you feel like, or you can ask the staff to bring the breakfast to your room.
Good morning, Money, good morning. Slept well last night, yeah, we slept well. Yeah.
Ready for breakfast now?
I got completely distracted by the mango in this dish. The portion was very generous. November is the middle of the mango season in Australia. I forgot to ask what breed of mango they used here. It was very sweet and juicy. I loved it.
What other cars do you have?
A Brock Commodore.
Oh no.
21?
Yeah.
This morning, I decided to have a traditional full breakfast to start the day. The term full comes from the fact that the breakfast is, well, full of different food. Inclusive of the main course is the same wood-fired artisan toasts as the ones I had yesterday, accompanied by butter, Vegemite and Beerenberg preserves. The heart of the full breakfast is bacon, eggs and sausages. Perfectly cooked scrambled eggs should have a creamy consistency without being runny and fluffy without being dry. I think my eggs generally fit this criteria. I like how creamy they are. Overall, I totally enjoyed my full breakfast and my belly is very full. Here's another behind the scenes shot. How do I remember what I ate and what the food tasted like? Well, I take notes as soon as I finish each course.
Very good morning to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly trust you slept well, or if it's your second night, you slept better. We are currently running on time with an anticipated arrival time into Katherine this morning of 9 AM. Expected outside temperature when we arrive will be 32 degrees. And a maximum of 39.
After breakfast, I brought a cup of tea with me to my room while waiting for the arrival into Katherine. Katherine is only 306 kilometers southeast of Darwin. It is a tourism gateway to the attractions of nearby Nitmaluk or Katherine Gorge and its many ancient rock paintings. There are 4 excursion options in Katherine, with 3 involving a visit to Nitmaluk Gorge. The staff told me that the 2 cruise tours are pretty similar. Nitmaluk Gorge Cruise takes you through the swirling waters of the first and second gorge, with a walk of approximately 500 meters over rocky terrain is required in both directions between the 2 gorges. Nitmaluk First Gorge Rock Art Cruise only takes you down to the first gorge and only a very short walk is required. If you had a moderate fitness level, the staff would recommend you to do the Nitmaluk Gorge Cruise. There's also an optional helicopter tour in Katherine with a cost of $230 per person. Instead of only seeing 2 gorges, the 20-minute flight will take you deep into the region and fly you over all 13 gorges. The last option is to watch the real horse starting and working dog demonstrations entwined with live music and humorous bush tales owned by multiple gold guitar winner Tom Curtin. However, due to the extremely hot weather in Katherine in summer, this tour only operates from April to October. My preferences for the tours in Katherine are helicopter, first and second gorge cruise, Tom Curtin and first gorge only cruise. As I don't want to spend any more money on the GAN, I decided to do Nitmalak first and second gorge cruise. The Northern Territory used to have a 509 km long narrow gauge railway line from Darwin to Burdham via Katherine. The line was closed in 1976 due to the loss of iron ore traffic originating from the Francis Creek mine. Katherine became an intermodal point for One Rail Australia when the new standard gauge line between Tarcoola and Darwin opened in 2004. The new line bypassed the town centre and the passenger terminal is situated adjacent to the freight operations area, approximately 8 km from the town centre. Nitmalak National Park is 37 km from the rail terminal, which translates to a 31-minute bus ride. From the car park to the pier is just a short 3-minute walk. This boat will take us through to the end of the first gorge, then we will have to walk approximately 500 meters to hop onto another boat for the second gorge. The seats are in a 3-3 configuration. For the best experience, I would recommend you to put a lot of sunscreens on and pick a window seat. Well, there are no windows on this boat, but you should get what I mean. The tour is very scenic.
Alrighty, so we've got these 2 cliff faces on our left and right coming up. These 2 cliff faces mark not only the entry to the gorge system, but it's also the start of the Arnhem Land Plateau. So the Arnhem Land Plateau is essentially this massive block of sandstone that goes all the way from here up to Kakadu. So we're just at the end of dry season. This is about as low as the river level gets. It could possibly have dropped another ½ metre, but we're already having some problems in certain parts of the gorge, which I'll point out to you today. How shallow it is. So we have, at this time of the year, we have 13 separate gorges or 13 separate pools of water. Now, come dry season, so November through to the end of April, this river is completely different. We do not have 13 separate gorges. We have one gorge that flows for 16.5 kilometres. So we ask Western swimmers to stay off the sandy beaches. Firstly, it's a $5,000 fine if Parks and Wildlife finds you up there. If you damage an egg, it's a $10,000 fine. So it turns into a pretty expensive day of canoeing. Now, being so small, they have a lot of problems. They have barramundi that are after them. They have all the birds of prey. Their own mother and father may even eat them if there's not enough food around. So they've actually only got a 1 to 2% chance of survival through to maturity, which is 5-6 years old. Folks, this rock shelf in front of us here, we've got these ropes. We're going to be pulling up on the left-hand side here. This was a Jarwin camping ground for thousands and thousands of years. There's a museum in town that has some photos from the last couple hundred years of Jarwin families camping up here. About 50 metres from where we're going to pull up, folks, there's a Jarwin rock art site. You're going to walk past it. Just have a quick look at it, and we'll make it over to the second gorge, because I think there was the option for you all to do a specific rock art spiel tour, but yeah, this second gorge one, we want to maximise our time up there, so have a quick look at it. It's been dated pre-Estrone period, so that's 8 to 10,000 years old, done in red ochre, so mixed with blood, spit, painted onto the sandstone. Sandstone's very porous or sponge-like, it absorbs into the rock, and then the sun shines down on the rock, it brings it back to the surface, so it's therefore tattooed the rock.
Katherine floods heavily during the wet season. This is part of the reason why the GAN doesn't operate in December and January. But this cruise actually operates all year round. During the wet season, the water level is a lot higher. You probably won't need to change the boat between the first and second gorge. During the dry season, the rocks are more exposed and the skies are always blue. The walk between the first and second gorge is a man-made uneven path. There are about 70 stairs in total. The second gorge is a lot more scenic than the first gorge in my opinion, so make sure you pick a good seat on the boat if you like to take some beautiful photos.
So first feature is this cliff face over on the right hand side here. This cliff face is known as Jedda's Rock or Jedda's Leap. It was made famous from a movie that was directed by French-born director Charles Chauvel back in 1955. Name of the movie was Jeddah. For those of you that are fans of MasterChef and Amazing Race, you may recognise some of the backdrops here in the second gorge from a couple of episodes that have been done. Top End Wedding 2017. We've had Red Bull cliff diving up in the second gorge, highest cliff dive being 24 metres. All over the right hand side there, and the reason you can see that you've got the 2 feet and then you've got the drag mark from the tail. The nest would be, at least one nest would be up the top there. So over on our left here, this is a subgorge. It's known as a partial subgorge. You can see that it's fractured. So where these ferns and this water seepage is. So it's a subgorge, but a partial subgorge because it's only just a fracture line. But when you have a subgorge, you have a corresponding subgorge. So up to our right-hand side upstream there, you'll see all those plants, all those trees up there. That's actually the corresponding subgorge. It was in front of us. Now soon on our left-hand side, you've got this other subgorge here. And then if you look back down towards Jedda's Rock or Jedda's Leap, that's the corresponding subgorge. So they see how they kind of match up now.
This is the return point of our tour. The whole cruise is approximately 2 hours long. There is a toilet at the back of the boat. The guide was very knowledgeable about the plants, animals and the culture of this area. I've deeply enjoyed this tour. The passenger rail terminal in Katherine is a little smaller than the one in Alice Springs. It's currently only used by the GAN. The terminal has a check-in desk, a visitor information center, an air-conditioned waiting room and toilets. According to their website, I don't think Journey Beyond sells tickets for passengers to get on or get off at Katherine anymore though. Platinum passengers once again have the shortest walk back to the carriage.
Bye.
Bye. This will be my last time stepping on board again on this trip. It feels a bit sad. The current passenger terminal building and rail interface arrangement in Katherine was intended as a temporary arrangement when the rail line was constructed 20 years ago. The NT government is proposing a plan to build a permanent passenger terminal with proper platforms and a new car park. I'm thinking perhaps the government could consider operating a fast train service between Darwin and Katherine in the future. Darwin is now just 4 hours away and launch took place as soon as we left Katherine. I always find the lunch to be rather light on Journey Beyond services. The entree is an artisan bread. For main, the only hot option is a buffalo massaman curry. This dish reminded me of the massaman curry I had on the Overland train. The Overland is another Journey Beyond service that runs between Adelaide and Melbourne. The flavours of the two dishes tasted very similar, and like how on the GAN we were also given roti. Massaman is a Thai coconut curry with Indian and Malay influences. The beef was tender and soft. The curry tastes like a mashup between Indian and Thai curry, as the primary flavours come from spices typically associated with Indian curries, and the aromatics come from herbs used in Thai curries. The roti is a traditional flatbread from Indian subcontinent. You can tear off mid-sized pieces using your hands, then dip them into the curry, or you can eat roti with a knife and fork if you don't want your hands to get dirty. This is my last course on the GAN. The parfait is a French dessert made from a base of sugar syrup, egg and cream. The mango flavor is very strong and the parfait is a bit sweet. There are two types of berries beside the parfait, raspberry on one side and blueberry on the other. The berries' fresh and sour flavors neutralize the sweet and creamy parfait. The dessert was lovely. Almost every dish I had on this trip was fresh and delicious. Some dishes such as a grilled crocodile tail fillet, grilled kangaroo loin and venison carpaccio were unique. I have to say that the food is what I enjoyed the most on the Ghan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be crossing the Adelaide River shortly. From the left-hand side of the train, you'll be able to see the original Palmerston and Pine Creek Railway Bridge that was built in 1888. Near Adelaide River, the Ghan travels past Litchfield National Park. As you travel through this region, you may see from your window some strange dirt hills. These are termite mounds that rise up to 2 metres high. A curious fact about these termite mounds is that they always align north to south to minimise sun exposure.
This 3-day, 2-night journey travelled from south to north, from the city to the wine regions to Flinders Ranges to the Red Centre, then through to the tropical top end. The scenery that I saw each day was totally different. The meals were yummy, the Platinum cabin is luxurious, and the onboard staff were personal and attentive. In fact, I think the team actually went out of their ways to accommodate everyone's request. I had 2 entrees and 2 mains for most of the time. I asked to sit at a specific table for my meals, and I always walk back and forth across the carriages with my cameras around. I'm sure I have added extra burden on many of the staff. Still, they always do their best to put up with me, so I would like to say thank you to all the staff who looked after me on this trip. Yes, travelling on the Ghan is expensive, but I think for what I paid for, it's well worth the money. And no matter what class you travel in, even in Gold Single, I can guarantee that you will have an unforgettable experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to cross the largest of the 6 major bridges built for the Alice Springs to Darwin Railway. The Elizabeth River Bridge is over half a kilometre long. There were a number of engineering challenges in building the bridge, not least the strong tidal currents and massive saltwater crocodiles. When we cross the bridge, you'll be able to see Darwin in the distance from the left-hand side of the train.
The Ghan departs and arrives at Berrima Terminal in Darwin. It's located 20 kilometers from the city. Due to the distance to the city, Journey Beyond offers a complimentary transfer service for both Gold and Platinum guests. Gold class passengers will have to walk all the way to the passenger terminal to pick up their checked luggage, then get on board one of the buses outside the terminal. The bus will stop at selected hotels in Darwin City.
I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of our crew to farewell all our guests. It's been a great pleasure having you on board, and I hope you enjoyed your journey through the heart of Australia on the Ghan. And we'll look forward to seeing you in one of the other Journey Beyond rail experiences.
Platinum passengers have a dedicated bus waiting outside the Platinum carriage, and the driver will drive to any address within Darwin and Palmerston. The checked luggage will be transferred to the coach by the train staff.
Yeah. Which one do you want me to take? This one? Yeah. You alright with that?
Yeah, I'm alright with
that. No worries.
Good, thank you. No worries.
How much for you because it's open?
Thank you so much for still watching. I would love to make this video only 20 minutes long, but I prefer to include every detail of my experience in my videos rather than rush everything and quickly draw a conclusion. I hope you have enjoyed this trip with me. I had a fantastic time on this train. The Ghan doesn't run in December and January. During these months, Journey Beyond uses the Ghan's carriages to operate the Great Southern Train from Adelaide to Brisbane. Over the last Christmas period, from the 24th to the 26th of December, I travelled on the Great Southern Christmas Special Train with a massive Christmas Day feast at the Hyatt Hotel in Canberra. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to be one of the first to be notified when the video comes out. For now, thank you again for watching this video, and I'll see you again soon.